Hi and welcome to another episode of Chatter About the Chatter. I'm starting off with a smile as I always do, but I think there was a bit of miscommunication there because I'm like, what's going on? What's going on? I thought it was live, so I started talking and there was absolutely nobody there. How is everybody? Let's get into that chatter. Welcome to Chatter About the Chatter. The sign there is I'm the host of this fantastic show for you. My name is Cuddy Cudworth, life coach, cognitive behavioral therapist. Helping people get past anxiety and depression. It's quicker than you think. And I say it with a smile because it is quicker. We just have to make some changes. But today's show, we've got a few things going on. First of all, we're going to talk about the anatomy of emotion. We're going to talk about the anatomy of emotion. But that's not the whole show because we've got a special guest coming in today who's going to be talking about something absolutely fabulous charity. And there's a few things involved in not only in that charity, but the power of this lady's skills as well. So, and believe it or not, we've never actually met, even though I was invited to go to one of their the events that we're going to be running this weekend, Project You. Lisa Mcmurty is going to be coming on in about 10-15 minutes time. She's going to be talking about empowerment for ladies and men. She's a female empowerment coach, but you know what? I'm going to let Lisa introduce herself to you. That's what I'm going to do. When Lisa comes in about 10 minutes time, we will let Lisa tell her all about her fascinating stories and how we can help you. So welcome. It's getting fair dark in the afternoons. Oh, Veronica. There we go, Veronica. How are you? All the way from Edinburgh. Good to have you in the show, as always. Now, Veronica, we've got a cracking show coming up, as I did tell you. So we wanted to talk about change your thoughts, change your life. The anatomy of emotion. Emotions, you can put into that little circle there. I'm gonna just turn that way just so you can see the little background that I've put on there for you. Look how relaxed I am now as my white hair goes off into the background that I've created of monkeys. So the anatomy of emotion. A lot of people don't realize and understand their emotions, and they think that anger and depression and anxiety just comes along, and you think that's how I have to be for the rest of the day. That's one of those big things. And the reason I say a lot of people don't know that, I didn't know that. Way back in the day, I didn't know that. I didn't know what was going on with my emotions. I didn't know what was going on with my thinking. I've talked about my absolute spiral to desolate desperation many, many years ago. I'm always very open about it, and I don't mind talking about it because if that story helps somebody else, then that's going to be absolutely fantastic. So I wanted to, this is something I've been looking into really, is how is emotion created within ourselves? Because we think, oh, I'm just angry, I have to stay angry for the rest of the day. Anger's come along, it's hit me like across the face like a wet fish, and it has to just carry on. It's not that way in any way whatsoever. Anger comes and goes. Emotions is like the weather. They come in and they pass. We're the ones that hold on to those emotions. We are the ones that make those emotions a little bit more powerful in our life. And once we can realize, we can change those emotions. And there's 4 parts to creating an emotion, believe it or not. 4 parts. And Veronica, you're always more than welcome to chime in with this one as well. I always love the banter that we have. You're as much a part of the show, Veronica, as anybody else. So when Graham's on the other show, The Meanings of Life. So for an emotion to be created, there has to be a thought and an image. There has to be a thought and an image to create emotion. And the reason we say that is thought precedes emotion. Thought precedes emotion. It always does. Thank you, Sina. Much appreciated. Now, a lot of people don't realize that, but thought, you have to be thinking. Anger doesn't just come along, or depression doesn't just come along. A lot of people say, oh, I have depression. Actually, I've got some really good news. You don't have depression. You're in a depressed state. I'll say that again. You're in a depressed state because of the way that we're thinking. So if we break one of these 4 parts of the anatomy, we get the chance to change our emotional state. Now, that's pretty powerful. So if you can place any emotion you want in there, when it says emotion, and you can change one of those 4 parts of it, whether it's the thoughts and the images, the physical association, the actions and behaviors that we have, or the attention, the focus and attention. It is focus and attention, absolutely focus and attention there so you can see it. Now, if you change one of those 4 parts, you can change your emotion. Now, 3 of them are really easy to change. And I'll say that again, 3 of them are really easy to change. What we don't realize is we get stuck in not understanding that we have the power to change our emotional state. Imagine that. Not realizing, I think I was 33, I had 33 years of not realizing I could change my emotional states. And one of the things that I didn't realize is my emotions and my moods actually affected everybody around me. And I'm a big guy. So there was a lot of emotion that came out of me. And those emotions absolutely pass on. They pass around and they start affecting everybody else because it's like walking on eggshells and things like that. So the first part of it is thoughts and images. What are you thinking? What images are coming to you that's creating that emotion? So let's put into the emotion circle depression. Let's put depression in there if you're having a depressed state, if that's where you are at this moment in time. So what are you thinking to put you into a depressed state? And that's a question. That's an open-ended question for anybody that's going to be listening on catch up and things like that. And images. What images are coming to you? What are you thinking about? The memory are you going back to? Because most depression comes from something that's happened in the past. Most anxiety comes from something that's happening in the future and you're trying to control it or have no control over it. That's kind of how those two emotions are created. Anxiety comes from something we're trying to control in the future, or depression comes from something that we have in the past and we keep going back. That pain memory drags us back and we think we can't change that with the way that we think. So what are you thinking about? If you change what you're thinking about and you change the image you're looking back at, you can change your emotional state, such as depression and anxiety. Phenomenal thing. Now, don't forget the power of these emotions that we have, especially the negative emotions. They completely encompass everything about us. They come over like this thick fog. And that's what can create that physical association sometimes. If I was to say that you were angry, what physical association would you have for anger? Tense. You'd be tense all the time. So you can change that physical association. There's always a physical association. If you have if the emotion in the middle is joy or happiness or love, you will have what. See, now I'm thinking about love, because that's the beauty of the thought. Is now I'm thinking about love and thinking, oh, I feel all warm and squidgy because I'm thinking about something that I love. There's a physical association. There's a cuddly physical association there. So that's what my association is. I don't know what your association is for love. But then you have actions and behaviors at the bottom. So these four parts to how an emotion is created is our actions and behaviors. So if you're in a depressed state of the emotion, in a depressed state, what are your actions and behaviors? Your actions and behaviors are probably going to be quite angry, probably sullen. Your actions are going to be slow. They're going to be, your behaviors are going to be, this is always another one of those days. And trust me, I've been there. This is not me projecting or anything like that. This is me talking about the symptoms of the emotion that we're creating. But it always starts with thought. It always starts with thought. So what we do is we can change what we're thinking about, and we can change the image that represents us. So if you're thinking about something from the past and you go back to that image, it evokes in our mind, it evokes those feelings and sensations, which keeps us in a depressed state. Now, you've also got like I said, we've got the physical association as well. Your actions and behaviors would be depressed. And what are you focusing your attention on? Focus is a big part of it. If you focus on the past, something that's gone wrong, that's going to create that depressed emotion. Now, that's quite a powerful thing, because you can change any one of these four. Some are easier than others, and we're going to talk about how to make those changes to change the emotional state that we have. And your emotional health and the emotional state that we create is what becomes part of this mental health that everybody's talking about. It's the buzzword, mental health. And being able to change those the mental health. But emotions such as depression, yes, I said depression is an emotion, anxiety is an emotion. You need to have nice positive mental health to be able to get through it. But once you do, and there's so many things out there to get you back on track, you don't have to live with depression in your life whatsoever. And you're always more than welcome to join the Facebook group Monkey Mind Relaxation. Get in there. If you want to slide into my DMs and you want to book some appointments, you're always more than welcome to. But to give you, change the way that you think, change your thoughts, change your life. You can change your thoughts and images. That's something that is within your control. We get lost in what we can and can't control, which is what starts creating these emotions within ourselves. Now, the focus and attention, where you're for whatever you focus on, and I've used this example before. If you've got a big picture and you see this beautiful scenery, but in the corner of the picture, there's a little dog having a poo. I said the poo word. Such an adult word to say, isn't it? And you're only looking at the poo. What are you going to be focusing on? Poo. So how are you going to feel if you're focusing on poo? You're going to feel like poo. And I'd be very polite when I say poo, Veronica. I said poo quite a lot in those words there. But that's what you're focusing on. But we can often forget the big picture, which is really big, which is actually, yes, I know there's a dog doing something in the corner, but I've got this big, beautiful scenery, such as living in Scotland. And I'm always very happy about living in Scotland because I've always got this beautiful scenery around. And you don't have to look too far to see the beautiful scenery wherever you are in the world. And that's one thing I did remember when I went to London once. I had this image of what London should be like, which was this big city, everything crammed in. And we went to see a friend in London, and it was beautiful. There were so many green bars. There were so many parks. There were so many green things. It was so open and vast. And I was like, this is not what I expected. They went, yeah, most people don't expect that. So whatever we focus on brings attention. Then we've got our actions and behaviors. Now, if you want to change any of those things, and I'm going to quick tips. Focus. Whatever you focus on grows. Simple as whatever you focus on, that starts to grow. It starts to accumulate. That's going to make that emotion bigger, grander, more depressed, more anxious. Now, changing your focus and attention is a huge part to do. Thoughts and images. What's the thoughts? What's the thinking process? What's the images that we're creating that's going to stimulate that emotion? When you go to a movie, you're stimulated by a picture on the screen that creates an emotion. What was the dog though? What? Marley and Me. Marley and Me. Oh my God, I sobbed the whole way through that. And A Dog's Life. I think A Dog's Life. Veronica, tell us about some of those movies that you've seen that creates and stimulates those emotions by images. So we can start creating better images so that we can start breaking down those emotions that we have. Because the whole premise of Chatter About the Chatter is not only changing the conversations that we have. Oh, hi, Alex. How are you? Pleased to meet you, Alex. Welcome to the show, everybody. Veronica and Alex, have a little chat there. We're just talking about the physicality of how we can, the anatomy of emotion and how we can change it. So our actions and behaviors. Now, you could change your actions and behaviors. And I'm always a big fan of a book by Amy Cuddy, no relative, no relation whatsoever. But she always did the superhero pose. I remember reading that in the book, which was to stand up, arms on your side, stand like a superhero, whether it's Wonder Woman, Superman, open up your breathing, open up your chest. That's going to change your physical, your actions, and your behaviors because you're opening yourself up. And then that can break that state. With a nice sharp breath in and out, that changes that physical association and action that we have for those behaviors. So you change any one of those four parts, you can change your emotional state anytime you want. Thank you, Alex. Much appreciated. Anytime you want, you can change that emotion. That emotion, it can be depression. It can be a depressed emotion. It can be sadness. Those negative emotions, such as anger. And anger, talking about anger as an emotion, anger can be something that you can use to actually really, really, really use that as a fire. Use that to stoke the fuel. Think, well, I'm angry now. I'm going to make this count for something. So anger is one of those emotions that can be a good or a bad one, but depression and anxiety, and we can discuss anxiety more in future shows for you. But I just wanted, before we got Lisa into the show, is talk about the anatomy of emotion, because that's a really powerful tool that you can use to be able to change those emotional states that we find ourselves in. Alex, where are you from? Let's just give us a little shout out to Alex. Our lovely Veronica is all the way from Edinburgh. Just over the water. I say just over the water, that way. And Alex, give us a little shout out. Where are you from, Alex? If you want to share where you're from, you're more than welcome to. Welcome to the show, Chatter About the Chatter. I'm Cuddy Cudworth. Now, as we've talked about that, we are going to get guests on as many times as we can to give you some. Oh, sunny Sheffield, Alex. Actually, I'm from Sheffield originally. I've got a feeling you might be here to see our guest, which is absolutely fantastic, Alex. And I had a feeling. I had a feeling that Lisa was from Sheffield. So We've talked about the anatomy of emotion and to give you those tips and hints to how to break those emotions by breaking down the anatomy. However, our show today, Alex, that's brilliant. Our guest today, all the way from, and I'm guessing by her accent, it is Sheffield. I'm not 100% sure. We're going to find out. Let's bring our lovely Lisa Mcmurty into the show, Sina, if you can. Bring her into the show. Hello, Lisa.
Hello. I could sit and listen to you forever. If there's nothing like a break of state that I have just experienced, from tiredness to pure excitement, just from 10 minutes of listening to you.
That's absolutely fantastic.
Incredible. Nice to meet you.
Pleased to meet you, Lisa, because we've never been formally introduced. I know we're both on the sidelines of Graham Nichols.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm not far from Sheffield.
Now, I guessed that. And by the way, thank you for bringing some viewers to the show. So we've got Alex and Joe Cantle in.
Hey,
hi. Right. I know nothing. I know very little about you. So let's do introductions, Lisa. Lisa, you are a coach, you're a mentor, a trainer. Fantastic. Now, it's men's mental health radio station, but 50% of our viewers are actually female. Veronica, she is absolutely in every week. We love our Veronica from Edinburgh. So, Lisa, just explain who you are, what you do, and where you're from.
Okay, so I'm Lisa Mcmurty. I am from Hull, just an hour from Sheffield. So I'm from the east of Yorkshire. I've lived in Ireland for 6 years. And my husband is Irish. He now lives over here in Yorkshire. And I was a mental health nurse. So I was a mental health nurse for 11 years. And I wrote down some little brain dumps before I came on here. And it really just resonates with what you've spoken about.
Sorry, did I?
No, it's amazing. It's amazing. And that's what I think the whole charity event is all about. It's giving people amazing tools to create state and change state and help people to feel healthier, happier, more fulfilled, less stressed, less chaotic. So listening to you talk for 15 minutes was just phenomenal, because I was like, oh my God, that's so what I've written down here. We're in alignment. So I was a mental health nurse for 11 years. The area that I focused on in mental health was the mental well-being of patients and how we could use different tools and strategies to help them to feel better, feel happier, feel more fulfilled, feel more in control with what is going on up here, and ultimately get to understand that their experiences were coming from the thoughts they were thinking. And giving them really kind of simple tools just to begin that process of change. And then I had kids. So when I had kids, my stress levels went up, and the stuff that I preached in nursing, I really had to apply, because I began to struggle myself emotionally for a while. And then I left nursing, and here I am 10 years later with an amazing coaching business. So that's my journey. Right. My coaching business started off working with busy moms who were feeling the stress, because that was what I resonated with. That's where I had kind of helped myself, and then just naturally began to support other people who were going through that. But over time, although that's still my baby, and although I still do that, over time, my business has moved more towards helping the entrepreneur with mindset expansion, mindset growth, so that she can begin to really earn, or he can begin to really earn their business, so that they can go out there and shine their light and help others. And that's my way of kind of helping people help people, because I realized a long time ago, I can only really help a handful of people.
Yeah.
Can't help thousands and thousands of people. I only have so much time. But if I can actually help people to help people, then that's the ripple effects that I can have on the world. So that's what I do now.
Absolutely fantastic. So what is the name of your business?
So the name of my business is my name. It's Lisa Mcmurty Coaching. So nice. I have my business, which is Lisa Mcmurty Coaching, but we've just launched a coaching training school. Joe's on here. So Joe and I, Joe's my co-creator partner. we've launched a training school, and that business is called Becoming 360, and that's helping somebody go the whole circle to come back home again. I think on our life path, we can lose ourselves.
Yeah.
So the whole kind of idea of Becoming 360 is to support people in finding themselves again.
Absolutely. So I'm going to deep dive with a few probing questions, if you don't mind.
Ooh, go on.
So the show is called Chatter About the Chatter.
Yeah.
Now, the chatter I'm talking about is that internal chatter. That's how I built my company, Monkey Mind Relaxation. It's how to change the conversations that we have inside, those meanings that we create that absolutely decimate us and just put us on that downward spiral. So before you moved on to that entrepreneurial life, you said you were a mum. For any of our listeners, you were a mum. And all those struggles and those conversations started coming up. So what kind of conversations did you have with yourself when you were a mum and you were struggling, even though you come from the mental nurse background?
It was chitter chatter, such as, this is really hard.
Yes, it is.
I'm so tired. I don't know what I'm doing. Please stop crying.
Yeah.
You need feeding again.
It sounds like my wife's conversations with me. It's unbelievable.
It all, the thoughts that I had was all around it, just the experience being really hard and feeling really tired. And that, I think it was the shift from having doing my thing to suddenly having this huge responsibility and caring for these young ones. And my thoughts around that was, oh my gosh, this is really hard. I don't know what I'm doing. And that would then kind of create this anxiety, because I was always trying to plan and control the next few hours just to ease what was happening in my world, which was my anxiety. But it was, they need to be fed at a certain time, they need to go to sleep at a certain time. So it was really impacting my behaviors, because the thoughts I was thinking is, this is really, really hard. I don't know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
So then I was trying to ease my own anxieties that were coming from those thoughts by controlling the situation, to the point where if they didn't go to bed at 7 o'clock, I would lose it, because it would impact on their sleep. And I would feel the anger rise to anybody who did not lay the baby down by 7 o'clock, for example.
Yeah.
Or if my parents had the child for a few hours and they were to come back at 2 o'clock and they didn't come back till 3 o'clock, the anxiety that I would feel waiting past the time that I needed to happen in order to feel safe would result in all this anxiety coming up. So that was kind of what I was experiencing at the time. Yeah,
completely, totally understandable. And look, I think I've talked about this in the past, is when you become a life coach or you become a therapist, it comes from a place of experience. It's that experience that we've had. I've been sat where you are right now. We've got Veronica here. She's saying, Lisa, 101% single mum over here. So she gets it. She completely gets that chatter. And what did you do to get yourself out of that chatter? What was your journey? Going back to the parent thing, before we start talking about Project You and all the fabulous things that we're going to be doing over the next weekend, what did you do to get the help that you so needed?
I knew that my body and my mind had gone through a high level of stress through the pregnancy. We had an emergency C-section. Complications, it happens, it is what it is, but it left me feeling very stressed. So because of my understanding of, actually, I've gone through some big life changes and I've experienced some stress, I could see where I was struggling emotionally, mentally, physically. So because I understood the patterns that were starting to be displayed, I was able to reach out to my mum at the time and say, Mum, this is how I'm feeling. I feel very tearful. I feel very overwhelmed. I get anxiety if the times of things are out of sync. And I know that's completely out of context to the situation. So I actually had a very honest conversation with my mum at that time. Yeah. And then we just began to really, I think it was more about nurturing me through what we'd gone through. Yeah. I remember years ago in nursing, learning about the model, the stress vulnerability model. And that really helped me at the time, because I understood that we can all experience stress. We all do experience stress. We can experience big stresses, like a new baby or like an emergency C-section. And we'd moved from Ireland to the UK when I was 8 months pregnant. So there was a house move involved as well. So there was lots of big stresses that had taken place. And then with the emergency C-section, I understood that my vulnerability threshold we'd gone past, and I was struggling emotionally. But because of the nursing background, I had the tools to begin to implement so that I could just take my stress under that vulnerability stress threshold, so that actually I could just start to heal and process and move forwards again.
That's fantastic. That's amazing self-awareness as well. But luckily you had the training, you had the background.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Fantastic. Lovely story. Thank you for sharing, first of all. That's a big part.
The humanness of me.
Yes, absolutely. Right, so we've got Project You coming up. This is a whole weekend of live speakers, live coaches, live therapists. I want everybody who's listening, both the people that are listening are your friends anyway that are probably already in. But how does everybody get into, let's talk about it. Project You. What is Project You? Tell everyone.
So Project You is about you. It's about somebody. It's about Cuddy, okay?
No, it's not.
Cuddy. Project You is a 4-day charity event that we've put together. Joe and I wanted to raise money for 2 charities that we're passionate about right now. But our ethos of our business is helping as many people as possible. A little bit like Graham's, probably a little bit like yours as well.
Absolutely.
And we were like, how can we really make an impact on just helping as many people as we can? And it was like, we know so many amazing healers, coaches, therapists, those in the helping profession. We know loads of them. And we know that at their hearts is supporting somebody to feel healthier, happier,
Absolutely.
more fulfilled, give them the tools and techniques to take back control of their life. So the event came about because of that idea. It was like, how can we impact as many people as possible? And it was like, well, let's get as many people as possible, experts involved in actually running an event where everybody delivers a well-being style workshop, whether it be a meditation workshop or a hypnotherapy workshop or an educational workshop or a fitness. We've got somebody doing Pilates on Sunday morning, I think she is, or Saturday morning. So we've got an array of physical activities going on, emotional support, mental support, and spiritual support to help people with the whole 4 pillars of life. But because we've been able to bring 18 experts in to support us in supporting these charities, we've actually got almost 100 people inside of this group now, this Project You. So yes, we're raising money for charity, which is amazing, but we're reaching 100 people so far who are going to gain access to all of these amazing tools and techniques just to help them feel a little bit healthier and happier.
Yeah, absolutely. So which 2 charities? Because I'm originally, and I've got a feeling it's somebody else in your group, but I'm originally from Penistone.
Okay.
Which is very close to Sheffield, but we have a little village next to us called Millhouse, but that's different to the Millhouses in Sheffield. But I believe one of your charities is the animal charity in Millhouse, or Millhouses. Which one is it?
It's the Millhouse Animal Sanctuary.
In Sheffield.
Yeah, it's a cat protection cafe. And Joe, where is it? Joe, you still on?
Joe, you can write in the comments whereabout is it the cat cafe.
You can go and get coffee and sit with cats and have cat therapy, and it's just beautiful. But they're a bigger part of animal protection, animal support, but this is like the charity within the area.
There's a cat cafe in Edinburgh that my wife goes to all the time, and when my wife found out I was doing the charity lecturing for you, and I went, oh, it's for a cat charity, she went, do it doesn't matter, just do it.
We love the cat.
So is it Millhouses? I'll ask Joe as well. Is it Millhouses in Sheffield or is it Millhouse just past Penistone? That's the question I've got for Joe, because I'd be very interested to find out where the cat charity, the cat shelter was. Right, but that's half of the charity. What's the other half of the charity, Lisa? It's dementia, I believe.
The other half of the charity is Dementia UK, yeah. And I chose that charity this year. My nana, who was there from me being so small, and she was the nana who just loved and adored me. Tabby's Tea Cafe, so it's Sheffield.
Sheffield, not a problem. It's okay. Thank you, Joe.
So my nana lives down south, so she lived in Devon, so wouldn't really get to see her because I'm all the way here in East Yorkshire. But my nana passed away this summer. Right. And when we went to the funeral, it was very much about supporting Dementia UK on the day of the funeral, due to her late husband, who had passed away a few years previous, who actually died through dementia. And Nana wanted to raise awareness, not just for dementia, but also for the carers of those with dementia. So when I went down to the funeral, it really just hit a chord with me. Mm-hmm. And when we spoke about this charity, I was like, that's what I want to do. I want to put half of the money towards Dementia UK in honour of my Nana.
Yeah.
Now, not realising, because we just booked the dates and continued business like Joe and I do, it only became apparent to my awareness a couple of weeks ago that actually my Nana's birthday is this Saturday, which is in the middle of the event, and her ashes and her husband's ashes are actually being scattered on Saturday too on her birthday. So yeah, it's got my heart. Not only do we have all these experts coming in and helping, but for me on a personal level, it's really got my heart too.
Oh, that's lovely. That's absolutely lovely. Now, you're going to have to talk about, I want all our listeners to be able to get into the event. How do they get into the event?
Yeah. So we have a landing page created called Project You. All you need to do is click on the landing page. On that landing page, there is a donation button. The minimum donation is £5. Once the donation has gone through and you remain on the page, it will direct people automatically to just where they need to put in their name and email, which will then divert them straight to the Facebook group. The event itself, because it's online and because we've gone worldwide, we're holding it within a private container using Facebook so that we can actually reach as many people as possible and people get access to this.
Okay.
Then everything's on replay as well, so people can watch replay. But to gain access, it's simply getting the link, paying the donation, and then coming and joining us over in the Facebook group.
And how much is the donation for anybody who wants to join?
Minimum £5.
It's £5 minimum donation. Brilliant. Mm-hmm. So what I'll do for you is, if anybody wants to slip into my DMs, Cuddy and Carol Cudworth at Facebook, slip into my DMs and I will post the landing page link for you as well. So I'll just copy and paste it into my messages. So anyone's more than welcome to slide in, ask about it, because I know I'm on Sunday at 6, I do believe. Sunday at 6 o'clock. And I'm going to be we're going to talk about everybody else you've got involved as well. But I will mention that I'm going to be in there for how you can decrease your stress and anxiety. We create conscious rules. All right. Amazing. I'm going to be giving you the conscious rules to decrease your stress and anxiety at Christmas. You can literally buy this thing. I went right Yorkshire there for a second. Buy this. Yorkshire. I've not been back in Barnsley for years, but I absolutely went completely. Oh, Veronica's going to scooch into my DMs. That's brilliant. So Yorkshire, so Barnsley. I've been in Scotland for 20 years now, but I went probably Yorkshire. So that's what I'm going to be doing, helping. So let's talk about some of those. You said it's worldwide as well now, which is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
So, go on, pull up whoever you need, whatever scripts you need, just off to the side. So talk to us about some of those speakers that you're going to have there.
So we open up. I'm just pulling up the agenda because there's 18 people. Oh my gosh. Okay. So the event starts tomorrow at 1 o'clock with the official kickoff by Jo Cantle, who's going to open up the event. Jo Cantle is a money mindset and spiritual life coach, and Jo is going to be talking about helping you come out of the stress and fear of money and tap more into the abundance energy.
Okay. When you say tap, what do you mean tap? Are we talking EFT?
Jo is an EFT queen. I don't know if she's going to do EFT, but what she's doing is she's helping people discover their financial blueprint.
Okay. Absolutely fantastic. That's very good. Who else have we got? Graham speaking. What's Graham doing?
Graham is doing helping people create their personal emotional health workout.
Oh, that's good. I like that.
I know, yeah.
I like that. Now, I believe you got some hypnotherapists there as well.
Yeah, we've got a few hypnotherapists, but one of the hypnotherapists is actually doing an EFT session. The other hypnotherapist, which is where is she gone? Stacey is doing a live hypnosis session for deep soul relaxation.
Deep soul, that's nice. Now that's definitely fusing two methodologies there. That's going to be fantastic. Now we've just rattled off EFT 4 times, so I would love you to explain a deep dive what EFT is. Not to be confused with ESP, which is something completely different. Now it's all right because we know what EFT is. You at least I'm sure you do plenty of EFT. What is EFT and how can it help and benefit our listeners?
So EFT is called Emotional Freedom Technique.
Right.
And what it does is it's a talking therapy, but the beauty of it as well is it's also helping to calm down the nervous system and release stuck energy that's been stored within the body due to stress, trauma, anxieties, events, all those types of things. So using EFT, what we do is we tap on, so when you're in a session with somebody, you'll either tap on yourself or your therapist will tap on you. And we're tapping on what are called Meridian Points.
Okay.
And Meridian Points are simply energy. Imagine them like train railway lines. Yep. So by tapping on the Meridian Points, a little bit like acupuncture, what it's doing is it's releasing the stuck energy that's charged behind the emotion that you're feeling. So what it can do is it can reduce your stress levels because it reduces the automatic nervous system. It releases the feel-good hormones, but also on a deeper level, a lot of psychological approaches, what they're doing is they're looking at the thoughts around memories, for example. What was it you were feeling, what you were thinking, what you were experiencing, and helping you process to move through it. But if you bring EFT into it, it's actually bringing in the energetic connection where the memory, the emotion of the memory is within the body. And if we can actually release the emotional charge, we can release the distress that somebody can feel over the stressful situations that take place in life.
That so works with the anatomy of emotion. I didn't even realize we were going to go into these conversations, but I'm just like, that is exactly what we were just talking about. That's brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic. And it's have you ever tried it on yourself, or do you use it on yourself, the EFT?
Use it on myself, use it on my cat, use it on my children, use it with my clients.
Stop. Right. Because I want to get
this session. Oh my God, I'm going online. I thought it was radio. No, I'm going to be seen on TV. Oh my gosh, I'm feeling so scared.
Do you know what? I remember the first time I did this radio show. I was invited on by Russ Kane, the owner of the men's men's radio station. I was like, what am I doing? I was like, this is actually quite a little hard. So, but it's just me and you talking, and that's the beauty of it. That's why we love this show so much, and there's so many other great shows at men's radio station for people to tune into. However, let's discuss. What do you mean the cat? So I need to talk about EFT on the cat. Yeah, I'm sorry. You've put it out there. You now have to, and I know Joe's probably, I don't know Joe that well at all, but Joe's gone, oh, I want on the show. I want to talk about EFT and the cat. I want to talk about EFT. Joe wants
to come and talk about EFT and cats. Bring her on.
However, Lisa, this is your chance to shine. You need to explain EFT on your cat. Why does your cat come to you saying, I've got an emotion I need freeing?
So, for example, my cat, she's older. She's 13 and she's slowing down.
Right.
And she's also a very timid cat.
Right.
And the bigger cats in the area can use their energetic position to manipulate her or bully her or whatever it is you might say. But there are cats in the areas who can sense that she's more timid and they can take charge of that situation. So she feels quite scared and she'll run in the house. So I know if she runs in the house because I've had a go on, for example, I know she's stressed because she's not a cat that stands up to other cats. She'll regress and she'll move away and she'll disappear and she'll try and hide. So she's frightened. Now, just like humans, animals also have meridian points. So if I can appreciate that her automatic nervous system right now is freaked out, by sitting down and just tapping near her eyes and tapping on her head.
And does the cat let you do it?
She does, yeah. And then she begins to purr and she begins to calm down. I'm sure the whole nature hug thing that she's getting also helps. But there is research out there for EFT with animals, yeah. Brilliant.
Now, you talked about EFT for kids. You've used it on your kids. How old are your kids? Because I know Veronica's got kids as well. So talk to me about how you use the EFT on your kids as well. How old are your kids?
I have an 11-year-old, a 9-year-old, and a 4-year-old.
Right. Fantastic. And the names? I'm putting you on the spot. I want you to forget one of the names.
Oh my gosh, I probably would as well. Ian is our eldest. Right. Aidan is our middle child, and Emily Rose is our youngest.
Okay, and just straight off the top, don't even think about it. Who do you love the most?
None.
Just kidding. Right. So how can you
every day? I've got the answer to a T. None of you.
Absolutely fantastic. So how do you use your EFT tapping on your kids? Is that what you class as EFT tapping? Is that what you class? Just come here, kids, just so I can swipe. Is that no? All right, just checking. I had to check. I had to raise the vibration a little bit with a jovial banter.
I use it for different reasons. So my eldest, for example, he's preparing for his SATs. He's in year 6. Right. He's preparing for his SATs. Now, he has support educationally because he struggles kind of with memory retention and speed and recall and things like this. So the thought of exams just naturally increases the stress level. So again, I understand if his stress levels are increasing, his recall, his memory, his ability to focus and concentrate will come down because his stress levels have gone up. Now, if that's where he's already struggling, I don't want that for him to go down any further because intellectually he's able for these exams. So by using EFT and just allowing him to talk about what he's experiencing, one means he's being seen, he's being heard, he's being understood, which is what all humans want anyhow, is just to be heard and understood.
Yeah.
But whilst he's talking, we're calming down the automatic nervous system and we're releasing the feel-good feelings. And then all of a sudden, because I am all right now, and off he goes. Yet a few minutes earlier, he was all up in his emotions. You know, the emotions had taken over. And then he's like, what are you even doing to me, Mom? There's nothing wrong with me. And off he goes. I use it when they're in... So as humans, we can distort information. We can perceive things that are not reality.
Yeah. We
can make mountains out of molehills. We can exaggerate. We can forecast and tell the future. They don't like me, etc., etc. And that happens with the kids. It happens with all of us.
Yeah.
So when it happens for the children, rather than running to their stories true and go, oh my gosh, and then just feed what they're believing as truth, we can actually sit down and as they're telling me what's happening, we're just tapping. And then I can ask them, how are they feeling? And go, I feel really, really angry, Mommy. Okay, where's the anger? It's all in my stomach. Okay, let's go there. Let's talk to the anger. And it just gets it moving. And I think what it's creating for them, it's giving them an amazing tool, but it's really developing that emotional resilience for them at such a young age that they now come to me and say, Mommy, this has happened, but maybe it's not true. Maybe it's just my thinking. But this is how I'm feeling, Mom. So, okay, let's sit and let's go through it.
Oof, I love it. I think you've probably explained EFT a little bit more defined than I've understood it in the past from the few people, because I'm a big fan of meditation. I will tell everyone about meditation till I'm blue in the face. Let the thoughts go. Stay with those thoughts. Don't be scared of those thoughts. Let them pass, because they're not real. They're not real. Thoughts are not real. I always hashtag that all the time. Thoughts are not real. So I've always, if anyone's ever asked me about EFT, so I've got friends that do EFT, but it's not really my thing. But the way you just explained it, especially in kids, and Veronica, I hope Veronica's listening to this one. Is there anybody doing EFT on the weekend? Because that would be phenomenal for Veronica.
We do. Well. We have, and she's an EFT trainer. Where is she? What day is she going on? It's Lynn Marshall. Lynn Marshall is still a practicing mental health nurse. Let me find her. Lynn, where are you? What Lynn is covering on this Saturday, I think it is. Yeah, Lynn Marshall, mental health nurse, clinical hypnotherapist, and EFT trainer. She's teaching EFT. She's showing the basic routine and she's highlighting the benefits.
Nice. Okay. I know it just go on the. That's brilliant. Honestly, Lisa, that's absolutely fantastic. So you've got 15 minutes left. Just talk about whatever you want.
Oh my gosh. On the spot. I kind of like the questions.
No, I'm just kidding. No, it's okay. So in Hull, now how do we because everything, I mean, in Hull, that's where you live, obviously, that's what you've mentioned. But how do we, the Academy 360, that's for the entrepreneurial, ladies and gentlemen, is it? Ladies and gentlemen. Because you used to be a female empowerment coach. I know it was always ladies that you worked with. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's that whole type, ideal client, title, tagline, speak so people hear you type of stuff. But ultimately, I support male and female.
Ah, interesting, Lisa Mcmurty. Very interesting. I like what you've done there. That's good stuff. All right. So, Joe, the last message that you put in, Joe, was you have 2 cats. Thank you, Joe. We appreciate you sharing very much. She loves EFT. Joe, is there any questions you have for Lisa? Veronica, do you have any questions for Lisa? And Alex from Sheffield. I don't know whereabouts in Sheffield you're from. But Alex, do you know Alex, Lisa?
I do know Alex, yeah. I know Alex really well.
Okay, fantastic. Do you have any questions for our lovely Lisa Mcmurty, as she has given her time to us, which I'm very grateful for. Thank you so much. Yeah, no, absolutely fantastic. I just want to make sure if there's any questions from everyone of our listeners. And thank you for bringing some listeners to the show. It's very much appreciated, Lisa.
Sure.
It is. We do have fun. No, we do have fun. And a lot of people, because it goes into a podcast after. So we've always got Veronica live as well. So love this. You can send me the Zoom link for tonight's workshop. Yes. Can she send me? So this is from Joe Cantle. Can you send her the Zoom link for tonight's workshop? She wants the Zoom link.
Yeah, it's on my to-do list.
That I'm training on with her. Fantastic. Well done. And Veronica, this will be a good one, right? My son is 18 in Feb.
Yeah.
Similar to Lisa, the son, due to verbal dyspraxia, sadly due to being let down, he has shut off. So she will be very interested. Because, I know Veronica's been, it's very overwhelming, Veronica. And I'm always grateful when Veronica is our number one listener, if not only listener sometimes, and we have some cracking banter with Veronica. So, and I know she said that she'd got verbal dyspraxia. Now, if the son's got verbal dyspraxia, I'm going to be honest with you, Lisa. I'm going to have to Google what verbal dyspraxia is because I'm not 100% sure with that. But would EFT work with Veronica's son?
I think if come on to the training, come and have a chat with Lynn. It would be, off the top of my head, it would be exploring the emotions that your son experiences due to the verbal dyspraxia. So, because of his experiences, he'll be having certain emotions and certain thoughts and certain frustrations. So it would allow him to just explore those and release those from his energy system.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Lisa, you've shared so much. You genuinely have. Oh, well done, Lisa. I've never heard of a cat tapping. I will have to try it on my crazy cat. I love that.
I've got last night on Zoom, Alex.
I have a feeling there's going to be people in social. They're going to go around tapping the cat. They're going to be tapping the cat. Come here, cat. Just come here.
YouTube is a thing. It's a thing. And horses.
Tap. Is that not what the horse whisperer was?
Alex is the horse whisperer. Alex is an artist, and Alex sculptures and paints horses. Go and find her on social media. Her artwork is out of this world. She's the horse whisperer. Yeah.
Very nice. And you can do surrogate tapping with animals too. I wasn't expecting this talk to turn into an EFT talk. So I've be honest with you, not only have we had Project U, which is fantastic. Thank you very much for sharing on that. You shared some cracking tools there for us. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you want to share? Because you said you did a brain dump before you came on to the
I feel like I need to share my brain dump. Is that okay?
Let's share your brain dump. Tell me. Let's share something positive for our listeners.
So it's one of the subjects that I'm going to be covering in Project U. It's all around how to kind of bring calmness into our chaotic world. And what I mean by that is if sometimes life feels quite chaotic on the outside, it's often because there's chaos going on within that chitter chatter, the monkey brain that you talk about.
Yeah.
And I was going through my notes here, and one of the articles that I'd written, it says, what you focus on expands. So focus on the things that light you up, which is what you were talking about earlier about the where your attention goes, energy flows.
Yeah.
And if we're focusing on the poo at the bottom of the screen,
then
we're going to see the poo at the bottom of the screen. If we're focusing on the tree and the sun, then we're going to see the tree and the sun. So what ultimately, and this was like, when I found this out when I was 26, it blew my mind, but it changed my life. Without a doubt, changed my life. And I'm here today on TV with you because I got to understand this at the age of 26. We feel what we feel because of the thoughts that we think. And when I got to understand that, so if I'm feeling like this, if I'm feeling this anxiety, if I'm feeling this not nice feeling, and it's due to what I'm thinking, then maybe I can change that. Because I was always believing this was how it's supposed to be. This is how I am. There is no alternative. Just got to get on with it. So the person who I was, I believed that was just who I'm meant to be. I knew no different.
Yeah. And
when I got to understand that I was feeling the way I was feeling due to the thoughts I was thinking, it was a bit like, maybe I could change this. And I got to begin to understand the thoughts that I was thinking that was impacting the emotions that I was feeling, which was ultimately then impacting the behaviors that I was engaging in, not engaging in, etc., etc. So, and then if we kind of expand that again and kind of bring in the law of attraction into it, what we think about expands.
Yeah.
What we think about, it magnetizes. So if we're looking for a red car, so be it, we're going to see red cars.
Yeah.
But if we're looking for the injustices or the wrongdoings or the why I feel the way I feel, and we're looking externally for them, then so be it. Your brain will give you the answers because the brain likes the questions because it likes to answer them, and it likes to answer the truth that it knows.
Yeah.
So it's about changing that. But for me, the power was in just understanding that one concept. I feel the way I feel. I think the way I think impacts the way I feel. And that one kind of concept just led me on this chain of reaction. And for anyone who's listening, if you begin to understand that, what you can then do is begin to apply little daily routines, little daily positive changes to begin just to change your world and change your outlook and change what you're experiencing, change what you're feeling. It's not like you wake up one day and you're like, oh my gosh, all those thoughts that I was thinking have gone. They're still there. I still have them. It's just I have a bag of tools now to go, okay, I can feel, because I'm quite a feely person. So I notice the changes through the feelings that I have. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm feeling quite anxious today.
Yeah.
Wonder what's going on there. And then I can apply the tools like mindfulness, meditation, having an earlier night, like listening to podcasts, reading, whatever it might be, that just changes my state, gives the monkey mind a bit of a brain, allows me then to go in and go, okay, what's the truth behind all of this, and just help myself feel a little bit better. So what I'm going to be talking about on Saturday at 4 o'clock, just before you, is some useful go-to feel-good strategies that are quick to implement, but can get that process of change happening for people.
Perfect. Absolutely fantastic. Chaos to Calm, I believe, was the title of yours, wasn't it? Chaos to Calm.
Yeah, Chaos to Calm.
Well, I'm a big component and a big enforcer. I know that's a harsh word, but I'm always change your thoughts, change your life. That's the name of the course I'm creating. Change your thoughts, change your life. It's that simple, doesn't make it easy. I always used to say that about meditation. Meditation is not easy, but it can change your life. Once you stick at it, keep those consistency going, it starts that snowball effect. It genuinely does. Lisa Mcmurty, you have been an absolute pleasure as a guest.
Nice to meet you.
I can't wait. I know, pleased to meet you as well. I can't wait to do it because I'm going to do, I do that podcast as well. So we'll get you onto a podcast as well. Joe, if you want to do a podcast with me, slide into my DMs. You're more than welcome to. Alex, if you want to get into a podcast with me, slide into my DMs. You're more than welcome to. You can find me as Cuddy and Carol on Facebook. You're more than welcome to. And we can start doing some podcasts for you and get your messages out there to all those people. Lisa, gratitude. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I can't wait to see you over the weekend.
I know. Can't wait for your show.
Absolutely. It's going to be fantastic. You'll get me nervous now. You'll get me all anxious. No. Graham did make a point. I'm only yeah, before the show will be started. No, because Graham made a really good point. Cuddy, you're only allowed to speak for 45 minutes. I'm like, no, but I can do 2 hours. I'll give you 2 hours. It's not a problem.
Well, we have kind of created a gap of 2 hours just because we appreciate some people are chatterers.
Is there going to be like question and answers with it as well, so people can ask me questions? I can go on different, or is it just me speaking?
No, if people want to ask you questions, they're more than welcome to ask you questions.
Fantastic.
Absolutely, yeah. I think the more interactive, the better, for sure.
Okay, so it's a Facebook Live, so their questions are going to come up on the side screen, aren't they? Just checking. Yeah, there's so many different streams.
You can do StreamYard if you want. I think Graham's StreamYard in it.
That's because he learned how to use it. I've got a producer who's doing it sooner than charge. Right. Just before we go, Veronica's just said, we've only got a few minutes left, but Veronica's just said, hi, speech is better through SPL. Good. But it's all the emotions and letdowns in education. It's very similar to being on various spectrum tables. I get that. Retaining information, writing, spelling, ride a bike or sports coordinate, however depressed and shut off. Lisa, looking forward to this weekend. Absolutely. Veronica, can't wait to get you in there. Hopefully you're going to get some helpful hints and tips. That's what it's about. Getting that information. It's out there. Lisa, I'm going to say massive thank you to you. Big love from Cuddy, as always, and I'll see you the weekend.
Okay. See you soon.
Thank you, Lisa.
Bye, everyone. Take care. See
you. Yes. So that's Project You this weekend. We've got 2.5 minutes left. Like I said, you can find me on Facebook, Cuddy and Carol Cudworth. I think that's what it is. Get into my DMs. I will give you the link. You can go in. It's a minimum donation of £5, and you can be a part of Project You for us. It's basically free, but you're raising money for Dementia UK and the cat shelter in Millhouses in Sheffield. Absolutely fantastic. So we tried to give you the tools, especially. I mean, Veronica, you were talking about your son there. It is thoughts. I don't know why I'm doing this. This is where the information is. So it is thoughts and images that we create, and especially for your son. But we know if there's learning difficulties, it will be hard to get that message to your lovely son in every way. But there's so much help you can get out there. And Veronica, I'm always very grateful for you tuning into this show as well. So the physical association, look, it's all there. Watch the video over again. You're more than welcome to, because it's about changing that emotional state. And I always keep talking about depression as an emotional state. That can challenge people's cognitive bias towards what depression is. And I was just doing a talk with somebody else recently, and I think depression is not something you have. Once you say, I have depression, you're taking ownership. And it's not. It's something that you are in. That's what it is. You are in a depressed state because of the way that we think and the way that our thoughts create that. That's what happened to me many, many years ago. You go into a depressed state. You can come out of a depressed state by changing the way you think, which is what it's always about at Men's Radio Station. We've got 40 seconds left. As always, big love from me. If anybody wants to reach out to me, slide into my DMs. You can book yourself any sessions. If you want to use NLP, if you want to use cognitive behavioral therapy, if you just want to chat, if you want to book in a session, you are more than welcome to. I will be discussing the new course coming out in January the 9th. Change your mindset, change your life, coming out as well. It's a 6-week course where we start giving you the help and the support. According to Cena, I've probably only got about 7 seconds left. So as always, big love from Cuddy. It's always a pleasure, and I can't wait to see you again on a future chatter about the chatter from Cuddy. All the best.